what we were just talking about. That's all right. I'll do it. Okay, so what you just asked me about was a guarantee. Google does not allow us to say to you, Maurice, we will guarantee you first placement under commercial insurance, because if we were to do that, and let's say we did it and we got you up there for 1 hour or even 1 day and we don't sustain it, they start to believe that that is false advertising, and I agree with them. And so Google really shies away from and could blacklist both you and I for making specific guarantees on a specific set of keywords. And so what we are able to do, and this is legal and this we are allowed to do, is we will make you a guarantee, and that is that if you give us 25 keywords, 5 of those keywords will be on the first page of Google for an extended period of time. And I unfortunately, Maurice, I don't have the verbiage in front of you, and I'll be happy to forward you our guarantee, but we do have one, and I will forward it to you. What we're going to do for you is this. In order to find out how high we can get you ranked and how successful we can get you in Google rankings, we have to take a look at how competitive the keywords that you choose are, and we also have to take a look at where you are now and where your competition is. So if there's very little competition, we can easily move you up the ladder and get you into first, second, or third position. If there's an awful lot of competition, then it's a little tougher. But for instance, insurance is a great fit with SEO marketing because it's usually local, and so we don't have to compete against the entire country. Really, we want to just compete for you, in your town or in your county. So what I would suggest as a means to an end, which is to give you a better idea of how far we can go and how competitive your niche is that I'm going to send you a questionnaire. It's called an intake form. That questionnaire has about 10 or 15 questions. It will give us the information we need to run an analysis of how competitive you are and how competitive the keywords that you have selected are, and how your competition fits into that mix. Is that something that you'd be willing to fill out? There's no obligation, no guarantees, you have all you have to do is supply me with the information. It's not private. It's just 10 or 12 quick questions to answer.
What is it called? An intake questionnaire?
It's called an intake evaluation. It allows us to evaluate your website, your competition, and the keywords that you find are important.
How many questions?
10. Okay. Anyway, so let me tell you. Can I tell you a little bit about SEO and what the actual services that we provide to you will be?
Yeah.
Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, SEO stands for search engine optimization. There are 2 primary parts of search engine optimization. The first part of search engine optimization has to do with something called on-site or on-page optimization. Let me give you some examples of what I'm talking about. On your website, do you have the word commercial insurance?
Yes.
Okay. The words commercial insurance, if those are keywords that are important to you to be found in Google, need to appear 5% of the time in terms of the density of all the other words on one page. So let's say that you have 100 words on your first page. 5% of those words should be commercial law. That is a technique called keyword density. And when Google looks at your website, which they do about once a month, they analyze every website on the internet, they rank it. And the way they rank it, one of the things they choose, and this is their choice and their analogs, their algorithms, are to see the density that you use with the keywords that you're advertising under. If you were to put the words commercial insurance on there 1,000 times, they would catch on to that. And they'd say, this is ridiculous. This guy's it's called keyword stuffing. They're just stuffing your website with a bunch of garbage. And so they're sensitive to that. There are many other things that I can talk about if you'd like to, but essentially there are several things not dissimilar to that we would look at on your website, fix your website. Most of the things that we would fix on your website would have no physical or visual effect on your website. We're not going to rip up your website and change it completely. We're going to, behind the scenes, fix things that Google looks at. I'll give you another example. Let's say you have a picture on your website, and it's a picture of a specific insurance carrier that you cover. Google can't recognize a picture. So you have to have, on every picture, you have to have something called an alt tag. And an alt tag is like a description of what the picture is about. And it could just say, Prudential Insurance Company. Then they know that you have a relationship with Prudential Insurance Company. That makes your site more relevant because it's really about insurance. It's not just like you're advertising under the keyword commercial insurance. You really are involved in it, and the key and the content on your website supports that. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
The second half, hold on just a second. The second half of what we do for SEO marketing is called off-site or off-page optimization. And off-page optimization is our ability to link other things, other sites, other articles, other directories back to your site. You already have, I'm sure, some natural links back to your site. So for instance, if you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce in your local area, very often the Chamber of Commerce allows the members to list themselves for advertising purposes. In that directory on the Chamber of Commerce site, there's a very good chance that you put your URL, your domain name there. If that's a live link, that's a link back to your site, and that link back to your site is very valuable because it shows that there's a third party that finds enough value in your site that they're willing to put your domain name on the internet, on their site. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
The other half of those links is that those links have to be relevant. If your best friend in college has an automobile dealership and he puts a link back to your site, the question is that a relevant link? Now, actually, it might be a little relevant because you might sell auto insurance, but it's not as relevant as if you were a member of the American Society of Insurance Agents, and they also had a directory on their website that linked all of their member agents, and that linked back to your site. That is a very, very relevant link, and that relevance has great value for Google and for Yahoo and for Bing. Anyway, those are the prime. I mean, there are many other things we can talk about, and I don't want to get too technical in the first conversation. If you would like to talk about those things, I'm happy to. But those are the types of things that bring value to Google that help you get rankings. And as you get more of those links, the value of your website goes up. And as that value goes up, Google looks on it more favorably, and you rise up higher and higher in rankings. Our job is to do all of those things for you.
Will you help me get the links?
I'll get all the links for you. All you really have to do is say, hey Adam, I buy into this, I want to do this. You give us a little supporting information like I've asked you to, like filling out that form, and really you're good to go from there on in.
And what's the timeline?
Hey, can you hold on just a second, Maurice?